From the deep, dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbytha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Hello, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game.
That there was Nikodas. I am Tabbytha, and over yonder is Grebog.
This is episode 164, Protostar Phase-oars. Yes, Phase-oars. You heard me right, because we have some admirals in the fleet that's we're not making fun of them. We're backing their pronunciation.
You know, the thing is, I never realized how many characters in Star Trek pronounce things, phase-oars and sensors like that, until that episode of Lower Decks.
Yeah, same.
Now we can't unhear it.
Especially rewatching things. All right, so if you want to support us, we take all contributions, whatnots, over at coffee.com/Grebog. That is ko-fi.com/GREBOG. All right, Tabby, why don't you go and tell us quickly, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
Very quickly, been continuing to play lots of Palea, putting this awesome build together, and doing the Dragon Daycare dailies in the Whelping Daycare dailies in World of Warcraft.
Cool. I guess Nikodas, now go.
Most of my week has been taken up with Pokemon. I've been trying to get Mew ready for an upcoming raid, so it's been that and getting this build put together on STO. What about you?
Same old WoW stuff. My Paladin is doing well, better than my DK, who is my main. Outside of that, putting this build together, I've been really busy, and I've been helping someone get a character ready for a D&D game on Saturday.
Ooh.
Should be fun. All right.
Yes.
So, sorry for the shortness there, guys. We have a lot of information to cover. The 10 Forward Weekly was pretty big this week, so I'm going to jump right into this week in STO. First up, starting today, the Galaxy goes to Red Alert. This will run for 2 weeks until September 14th. The reward is an ultimate tech upgrade, a specialization point, and an experimental ship upgrade token. 10 days of progress. So out of the 14, you got to do it 10 times. Best of luck. Here's Tabby with the next one.
The Phoenix Prize Pack event is back August 31st, which happens to be today, through September 7th. You will see T6X tokens that will be back in the Phoenix in the Prize Pack store, and you can get a free Prize Pack every 20 hours from DS9 or Drozana Station. I would personally rather go to DS9 for my free Prize Pack, because Drozana Station, nah.
And because there's not enough going on this week, there's bonus mark event going on. This is actually a 2-week thing. Started today, August 31st, and goes till September 14th. It means earn 50% more, which is 1.5 times marks from anything that awards marks. Go get your marks.
There's a bundle sale that also started today. This is a 35% off ship bundles and expansion bundles in the Zen store. Muds bundles are also all returning and are 50% off. So there's a lot of sales going on in the Zen store.
And one of the things that they announced on the stream is the Prodigy lockbox is coming, or is it already out?
I believe next Thursday. I think.
Next Thursday, get the all-new Protostar class starship with Protodrive and reformed living construct console. The console gives plus 10 shield power, plus 28.5 starship control expertise. The clicky makes foes within 5k kilometers fight each other up to 8 enemies for 22.7 seconds, confusing, placating, and engaging them in combat with each other, while confused foes gain 170.1% bonus damage. It does have a secondary deflector slot, has 4-3 weapons, 4 engineering, 5 science, 2 attack. The trait is Hex Grid Shield Focusing. Manually redistributing shields grants 13.8% crit severity based on forward shield capacity for 30 seconds. Max of 35% at 60k shield capacity. They did not show the seating, however. And it will also contain various gear and weapons from the Prodigy show, and new Phase-oars, space versions per 10 forward.
It was just pointed out that 170.1% bonus damage is 1701.
I saw that. I'm like going, boy, they snuck that one in there, didn't they?
That's
yeah.
cute.
And then the last thing in the lockbox, Tabby, something I know you'll love.
5 different Murphs to collect. Melanoid Slimeworm pets. Oh, yeah.
All right. They also announced Star Trek Online Incursion. This is going to be the 30th season, and it's going to launch September 12th. The Forever Ensign Kim, he happens to be a captain now, but I put it, yeah. And Captain Kamarke are going to return. Yes, they're being reprised by Garrett Wang and Kipley Brown. They also are bringing in Dr. Erin McDonald, and she's going to be Commander Erin McDonald. And yes, it's going to be voiced by Dr. Erin. Some of the new features.
That is so freaking awesome. I love it. Dr. Erin is amazing.
Yeah, if you don't know Dr. Erin, you should definitely go check out her YouTube. There's all kinds of information there. Sciencey stuff. Go. So also in the new season, we're getting a new episode taken by surprise. We're also getting 2 new task force operations, Resistance of Starbase 1 and Guillotine. And then they're introducing a new T6 ship upgrade. It will upgrade a T6X ship to T6X2. Which will unlock 1 more Starship trait slot, 1 more Universal Console slot, and 1 more device slot. Now, from my understanding, the way things were worded, this is a new upgrade token. The T6X upgrade tokens will only get you to T6X. There will be a T6X2 that will get you to the T6X2. So, yes, we're getting another token to pile in our banks and decide on what ships to upgrade. Also, there's going to be a special event that will kick off the launch, the Borg Tesseract. There will be 3-piece adaptation ground set, and while doing the event, you'll be able to claim a free Starfleet Protostar uniform. So if you like the uniforms from Prodigy, you just have to take part in the event and be able to get it. There will likely be even more details on what's in this new 30th season before the launch, so just keep your eyes peeled. Same with giveaways, typically happen when they introduce a new season.
And we will be keeping our eyes out for giveaways, and we will bring them to you as we find them.
Tabby, now you found a bug?
Yes, I was going through trying to complete a mission last night, in fact, and I was unable to complete a mission because of a bug. I did some researching and found out that it is a known bug that Cryptic is aware of and working on. So in the Iconian mission, it's hang on, what's the name?
The other side?
No, that's the step in the mission.
Oh,
it's the first mission, right? The first one in that arc?
Sphere of Influence.
Yeah.
The other side, pretty much when you go through the door to go through like all those ramps and stuff, and you get up to that console and you're supposed to like enter the symbol sequence to open up the gate. Well, the little like the little push buttons are appearing, like the little like a panel shows up on your screen for you to click the symbols, but it's not showing you the symbols for you to click. The Simon game. It's not showing you the symbols that you're supposed to click.
I ran this before the latest patch, and it was buggy even then. Yeah, I failed. I had to fail it like 3 times before it finally started putting the things up.
Yeah, from what I was seeing on the forums and the comments and stuff, the latest patch completely broke it.
Wonderful.
Hope they fix that soon.
Hopefully before they get that Zenkethi red alert fail criteria in.
Oh my god!
Right. All right. So
I don't know if it's completely broken for everybody, but if you try and do it and it's broken for you, just give it up until you see it fixed in the patch notes.
All right, so our primary target today is going over a collaborative build that we did. This is Fire at Will on the Terran Lexington Dreadnought Cruiser. We will have a link to our build sheet in the notes, right? That stays?
Yeah, I will put the Google Doc spreadsheet for everyone to view in the video show note, the description.
Okay. And to start us off going over this build, here is Grebog, who covered our weapons.
All right. So, we're using phaser beams. Oh, wait. To give you an idea why we chose what we chose, now you can go with any of these crafted. If you can get crafted with the penetration buff, is the highest DPS ones out there. We basically are using the standard phaser beam arrays as fillers for what doesn't have something special. But I give you a quick DPS order. First, you have the crafted with the pin modifier, and then after that, advanced phasers, which comes from the dilithium exchange. Agony phasers apparently are below that, which is lockbox exchange, and then Federation phasers, which is lockbox or exchange. Personally, there isn't going to be a grand difference between them, even between other ones out there. Use what you got. So in the Fore, we have I have the phaser wide angle dual heavy beam bank. This comes from the Reputation Discovery. I also then have on the other side here the Dark Matter Quantum Torpedo Launcher, also comes from the Reputation Discovery. And then I have the 2 phaser banks, like I said, that are filling in the middle. I happen to have some Agony, which I tossed in. On the aft, we have the Trilithium-Enhanced Omni-Directional Phaser Beam Array, which that comes from the ARC Final Frontier, the mission Beyond the Nexus. Then I have also... Let's see, the Advanced Inhibiting Phaser Heavy Turret, which comes from the Gamma Reputation. Another filler beam array. And then since we wanted to use the set, I have the Omni-Directional Protostar Phaser Beam Array, which comes from the new set that we just got from the event. Oh, I can re-energy. Also, anyway, I'll do that another time. So that's the weapons. Tabby, you want me to go over the equipment since I slapped this in? Or do you want to cover it?
You go ahead and go over the equipment, especially since I ran into a little bit of a snag on the warp drive, or on the engines and shields.
Okay, for the deflector, the deflector, it's the same old Protomatter deflector. EPS, hull cap, shield heal on it. Impulse, I went with something, I like to use on bigger ships, and I've noticed recommended on bigger ships, and that's the Romulan Advanced prototype impulse engines. This comes from the Reputation, the new Romulus, and that's because it has turn on it, because it help your bigger ships turn faster. If you're using any kind of limited angle, a firing thing like the dual heavy beam banks we got, well, yes, they're wide angle. This will help you get those on target.
And a torpedo. I mean,
yeah, and torpedo. Yeah, it'll help you get those on target. Then we have for the warp core is the Protostar dual warp core, and we have also the shields is the Protostar multiplicative covariant shield array. Wow, I think I might have actually said the yeah, I'm not going to say it again because I won't be able to say it again. Those are both from the recent event. And the hanger's on you, Tabby.
the hanger's on me. So we went ahead and now it was a lucky find that I checked the kind of the tier list for hangers for when hangers are not your primary source. They're just kind of like your bonus damage. And like one of the the shuttlecraft that comes with the Terran Lexington are like the fourth best that you can possibly equip. When if you go with the elite mirror universe shuttlecraft that you can get from the if you have access to those from the starbase, that's like pretty close to the best that you can get. The elite mirror universe ones that come from the starbase, they give you the phaser beam array. They have an omnidirectional phaser beam array, beam overload 3, and tractor beam 3. Seeing these things go to town is pretty freaking awesome. Like I've run this ship through the Kobayashi Maru scenario, and it's pretty entertaining to watch.
I would like to point out that while the Elite Mirror Universe shuttlecraft are slightly better, the Class C shuttlecraft are just like barely, slightly behind them. So if you already have the Class Cs, you can go ahead and use those.
Indeed.
But I went ahead and switched over because, me. All right.
I mean, makes sense. Go ahead.
So, bridge officers. For our bridge officers, I tried to pack as much oomph into this build as I could. So, starting with our commander slot, it is a commander engineering / miracle worker. We've got mixed armaments synergy 3 in our top spot, narrow sensor bands 3 in the next spot down. Both of those are a DPS boost. Then we have emergency power to weapons 2, which is also a DPS boost, and emergency power to engines, which basically we use to refresh evasive maneuvers and get around a little bit quicker. Next up, we have our Lieutenant Commander tactical spot. Excuse me. Yeah, this one. In our Lieutenant Commander spot, we've got Fire at Will 3, which is kind of the clinch pin of this whole build. In our Lieutenant spot, we have Attack Pattern Beta 1. And in our Ensign spot, we've got Chemosite Laced Weaponry 1, because that goes on every build these days. In our Lieutenant Commander Universal spot, we have plugged a Science Officer into this, primarily for the Lieutenant Commander Power Photonic Officer 2. In our Lieutenant spot, we have Science Team 2 for some additional shield healing. And in our Ensign spot, we have Hazard Emitters 1 to get rid of those pesky dot effects that get put on us occasionally. In our Lieutenant Commander tactical spot, now this is a mixed tactical intelligence spot, but we are not using any intel abilities. You could, in theory, use Surgical Strikes in place of Torpedo Spread 2. That would be Surgical Strikes 1. But in this build, I kind of like using the torpedoes. So I've got, in that Lieutenant spot, Torpedo Spread 2. And then in the Ensign spot, we've got Tactical Team 1. That's just a great little, get out of jail free card. Anytime your shield facing starts to go down, you punch that and it will equalize your shields. So, and it does it much faster than you can do manually. And then in our Ensign Science spot, I've plugged in Polarize Hull 1. This is just here to remove movement impairing effects like tractor beams and so on. And that's all for the bridge officers. Here's Grebog with your duty officers.
All right. So duty officers, I apparently got a little in the weeds here for some things. I went with a shield distribution officer, which has attack pattern beta restores hull when firing. Unfortunately, this is the agent in a rule. He is a very special agent. Apparently, he's not a double agent though. Sorry. He comes out of the expansion pack bundle, which I guess you could get now, but the Delta Operations pack. I picked it up long ago, so that's how I have him. An alternative for him is a space warfare specialist, which has when activating engineering or attack bridge officer powers, gives a 20% chance to get 10% of your outgoing damage as heal for the next 10 hits. This is Buthil, Buthil, which is 20 million on the exchange, roughly, if you can find them.
I also found, not to interrupt, but I also found that there's one named Deoga that has that same power. So there may be several alternatives. Just look for the space warfare specialist.
Yeah, Deoga is the former captain of the banana boat.
Let's see. And then I of course have the con officer that recharge time reduced. Where'd it go? Recharges evasive maneuvers when emergency powered engines is activated. I like this bridge or DOF and use it a lot. It's a great way to get your evasive maneuvers back to help you move around the map. I have 2 energy weapons officers, one for the stacking crit chance and one for stacking crit severity. Both having one of each is always beneficial. Basically, whenever you're firing energy weapons, you have a chance to get a stacking crit severity buff or crit chance buff, depending upon the officer. And then there is another con officer here that recharge time reduced for tactical team, and it gives the tactical team another buff, which is more starship weapon specialization. So you do more crit hit chance with your weapons. And now on to Tabby with consoles.
All right, so we tried to account. I've got the upgrade, so I've got a couple of more consoles. I've got the extra console slot, so I kind of put a like an extra bonus one that's not really necessary, like pivotal to the build, central to the build in there. So this universal console here is kind of going to be a player's choice one. I went with a 0-point energy conduit for a little bit more power and a little bit more crit chance. The natural choice to put in a universal console slot though is Lorca's custom fire controls, because it's normally a tactical console, and putting a tactical console in the universal slot frees up all of your tactical slots for your vulnerability locators, which of course that's going to be your standard spread of Phase-oar vulnerability locators. For engineering consoles, I went with a mix of a couple of really solid staple ones and some really easy to get ones to kind of be friendly on the wallet. So I've got the Ordnance Accelerator. It gives you it gives you plus 20% phaser damage and plus 20% projectile weapon damage. Projectile weapon damage, not so much a big deal, but that plus 20% phaser damage, that's good. Standby of assimilated module, 10% crit severity, 1.1% crit chance. The M6 computer, that's one of the staple ones. The reinforced armaments That pairs up with the omnidirectional with the Omni in the back to get you the speed tweaks set bonus. And of course, the Approaching Agony Universal Console, which gives you a static 15% phaser damage and 1.5% crit chance, and also gives you the AoE Agony phaser damage to give you that nice kind of AoE burst damage anywhere you want it every couple minutes. For science consoles, I went with the temporal disentanglement suite. Since on this particular build we are not using aux to bat, so we're running with a fairly high auxiliary power. This gives us a scaling crit chance and crit severity based on our auxiliary power level. So, given that we're running with a fairly high auxiliary level, it's going to give us a fairly high crit chance and crit severity. And in the other slot, where I'm running with a quantum phase converter, which is not one of the higher end ones, but it is another plus 20% phaser damage, plus another plus 3 on the auxiliary power, which is helping that temporal disentanglement suite. And Hot Restart automatically removes auxiliary power disabled conditions once every 60 seconds. So if you've got any disabling effects, not really something you want to go equip it for, but it's kind of a nice little side bonus.
Is that my turn?
Your turn.
Okay,
I give you the talking stick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So Starship traits is where we're going to start. I'm going to go over all the traits, but we're going to start with Starship traits. So we've got Emergency Weapon Cycle. This comes from the Arbiter, the Kurak, the Legendary Valdor, or the Morrigu. This is Zen Store purchase. We tried to stick mainly with Zen Store ships because they're easier to get. This one's a fabulous little thing. I suggest everybody pick up the Arbiter. It's a fun ship to fly, and it's got a great trait. Energy Overdrive. This one comes from the Da Vinci class. Entwined Tactical Matrices. Now, this one is kind of another linchpin for the build. This is... it works differently, but this is kind of the version of the Fire at Will booster for this. So whenever you activate Torpedo Spread, you get Fire at Will 1, and whenever you activate Fire at Will, you get Torpedo Spread 1. That's why we have the Torp Spread on here. Basically, it's a way to keep up Fire at Will 100% of the time. Heart of Soul, this is just a straight up damage booster. This one comes from the Edison class. History Will Remember, one of my favorite traits. This one comes from a lot of the ambassadors, the Legendary Ambassador, the Legendary Vorsha, the Narendra, or the Vorwa. So any of the support cruisers is what I meant to say. This buff is ongoing. It lasts until you change maps. So it's a great one to have. And then the last one we have on here is Improved Critical Systems. This comes from the Temporal Recruits. And it's an account unlock. Once you have it, you have it. We do have some alternatives here in case one or more of these are missing. Numerical Superiority, which is from the Zen Store Hestia. Programmable Matter Enhancements is a lockbox exchange purpose. Redirecting Arrays, which is another Zen Store purchase. You can get that from the Tucker, the Klothos, or the Tabak. I think those are Miracle Worker cruisers. That is another one that helps you keep Fire at Will up longer. It's not as good as the Entwined Tactical Matrices, and using them both generally is not suggested. But if you don't have Entwined Tactical, then you can run this one, the Redirecting Arrays. Another alternative is Weapon System Synergy. This is a Zen Store purchase from the Manticore, the Devoke, the Danaeus, or the Vanguard Heavy Destroyer. And Tabby reminded me that there's another really good one, Calm Before the Storm. This is from the Cardassian Intel Flight Deck Carrier. That's actually a brilliant little one, and I don't have it on my character here, or I might actually be using it. For personal space traits, there are a lot of personal space traits that you could use for this build. The ones I picked were a mixture of what I had available and what was easy to come by. So I've got A Good Day to Die, Adaptive Offense, Beam Barrage. That comes from the... I should tell you that, I guess. Okay, so A Good Day to Die comes from Lockbox Exchange. It is a tactical officer-only trait. Adaptive Offense comes from the Lockbox Exchange. Beam Barrage comes from the R&D system. You have to get beams to level 15. Fleet Coordinator is a basic trait. No reason not to throw that on. Innocuous is a basic trait. Everybody has it. Into the Breach, Lockbox Exchange. Operative, this is a basic trait. Is there an upgrade to Operative, Grebog? Is there a superior
I
operative?
don't think so.
Okay.
I think you have to be Romulan to get the superior.
Gotcha. Point Blank Shot. This is a mission reward from the Iconian War House Peg mission.
That's actually a pretty fun mission, too.
It is.
So it's
not
easy to
bad.
get lost.
Apparently there's multiple paths, okay?
As we noticed. Beam Training is a basic trait. You can upgrade it at K13, which is why mine is Superior Beam Training. And the Boimler Effect for 200 Lobi, or you can purchase it off the exchange. That is probably the most expensive one I've got on here. Some alternatives: Intelligence Attaché Agent from the Lockbox Exchange, Terran Targeting Systems from the Lockbox Exchange, EPS Overload from the Lockbox Exchange. EPS Overload is very good for engineers, as is the EPS Manifold Efficiency, which is a basic trait. So if you're running an engineer and you have nothing else to put in there, you can throw that EPS Manifold in place of A Good Day to Die. Might do some good for you. For science officers, we're looking at Photonic Reinforcements from a Lockbox Exchange. If you are Romulan, you can run Romulan Operative. I believe that replaces the standard Operative. So you can only run one of them. Romulan 1 being slightly better. Infiltrator is a basic trait, but it is Reman only. So both Romulans and Remans get a special trait.
I was teasing about the superior... There's a superior Romulan operative.
Right. As opposed to Romulan Operative. Yeah, I get it. For your space reputation, you're right, I was backing up. For your space reputation traits, I picked I did some research online. These were the ones that were suggested for Fire at Will. So we're looking at Advanced Targeting Systems, Energy Refrequencer, Magnified Firepower, Precision, and Tyler's Duality. Whatever rank 2 is the highest you can have, but whatever rank you have available, plug them in there. You're just looking for crit chance and crit severity primarily, or overall damage. Any of those will work. For the active space, I don't have the list down. There are 5 available. Pick the 4 you like and go with it. I'm sorry, there's 7 available. So again, pick the 4 or 5 you want and run with it. Dealer's choice on that one. And I'm going to pass this over to Grebog for our devices.
Devices? Hey, we did a whole episode about devices, so you're
that
all
long
good,
ago.
right? All right, so for devices, I did a bunch of standard, like Kobayashi Maru transponder, which is from the old event, though I believe you can now pick up in Mud Market. Though again, never buy anything from Mud Market unless it's on sale, because otherwise you're wasting money. Temporal Negotiator. This comes from the Delta Recruit account unlock. This is a bridge officer power recharge reduction by 50% when you hit it. The Kobayashi Maru, I didn't say it. It gives you a bunch of buffs, and it keeps hitting you with buffs. It's random on what buffs it sends, but it is a nice thing to have. For one of the batteries, I did a red matter capacitor. This comes with Phoenix prize pack, very rare token, or the Vulcan experimental scout vessel if you happen to have that. It's a very nice battery to have, easy to get a hold of. Yeah. Then I chose the subspace field modulator, which comes from the Spectres arc, which comes in the skirmish mission. This is here. I will show you in the go to the available tab, and then if you haven't found it, you'll have to find the Spectres breadcrumb. But after that, you just progress the story arc there till you get to skirmish, which is halfway through. The final slot, though you may not have this unless you tier 6x your ship, I would just toss in a energy amplifier battery, which gives you bonus energy weapons to damage, energy weapon damage. So it's a nice battery to have. And they're crafted, so you don't have to worry about buying them. That is your devices.
And we did not have this set up originally, but I just wrote everything down so I could go over it with everybody. We do have some set bonuses going on here. The primary one is the Protostar experimental technology. This is from the event that just ended. The 2-piece set bonus is called Velocity Shift. It adds crit chance or shield drain resistance based on your throttle. If you're at 0, you get slower speeds give you more resist, higher speeds give you crit chance. The 3-piece is The Only Way Out is Chaos. This is a clicky that gives you a barrel roll and basically turns your warp core into a weapon. It's pretty cool. Another set we're using is Lorca's Ambition. The 2-piece set bonus, when you get a crit hit, it causes additional crit damage based on crit chance. It's kind of a crazy little thing it does. And the 3-piece set is But That's Just the Beginning. Basically, it gives you free torpedo launches when an enemy's hull gets low. We are also using the 2-piece Trilithium laced weaponry set. This is called Speed Tweaks. It adds fire, haste, and flight speed. And then the 2-piece for Task Force ordnances called Task Force Tunings. It just adds 10% Phase-oar damage. It adds other damage as well, because you can use this on more than just a phaser build, but for this build, it was the 10% phaser and flight turn rate. That makes a difference, but it also adds chronoton weapon damage and polaron weapon damage. That's all I got.
He really likes backing up.
It's because I keep clicking onto the website. Oh, I'm at the edge of the map.
You are.
Okay, so are we going to show this off?
Let's show it off. We've been talking about it for half an hour. Let's show people what it can do.
Yeah. I was like, someone's worried about us going over time. So apparently Tabby and I went into hyper talk mode and
we had a lot of information to cover, and I know a lot of viewers get bored when we do that, but now's the fun stuff. Let's go blow something up.
I mean,
let's
we have red alerts we need to do.
Yeah, let's start with a red alert, and then we'll do something a little more challenging. So let's see here. Oh, I didn't even get the third one clicked. There we go.
Wee woo. Tholians.
I was going in reverse order. There's my little shuttlecraft.
Well, Tholians is a little bit more action-packed than the Borg one.
No boss, though. Not really.
Well, I mean, there's 2 tarantulas.
Yeah, and I'm going to go right for him. Something happened. Here we go. Look at me shoot everywhere all at once. Here we go. I'll drop my warp core.
That's what I just did. Because it's fun to watch a big ship do a barrel roll.
Those tarantulas are dead. Already gone. This is such a fun little build.
I find it funny he calls it little.
It's a freaking dreadnought.
Yeah.
And we're done. All right, what do you guys want to do to really show this off? Let's do a private TFO, but what do you want to run? Oh, I know. Let's do the Terran one that we did last time with only 3 of us.
Are we doing it on advanced or on normal?
We'll run it on advanced. I think we can handle it.
Which Terran one?
I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden.
Jupiter?
Yes, that one.
Okay. Wait, there's 4 points. How are we going to manage that 4th one?
Oh, I can't do this one. Don't accept that.
Oops.
You already did? All right.
I can.
If you jump out, it's going to put you on a half-hour cooldown. So we'll run it. It's fine.
I'm not in.
Yeah. It'll be just you and I, buddy.
That was my fault. I actually didn't mean to click it. Here, log out real quick. That'll cancel the queue without hopefully putting us on a cooldown. It might put us on cooldown.
Find out, won't we?
It's putting me in anyway.
Oh, here I go.
Well, shoot. Y'all in there by your...
We can leave and queue up for a different one.
The Terrans will be here. Engage their final.
That's totally my fault. I apologize. I got trigger happy and clicked on it without even thinking about it. I meant to do it as a private match. Okay, let me re-invite you guys. And let me pull up the right menu. Did it put you in there? This one does not have an advanced version, so this will be... Uh-oh.
I see Tabby in the private match list, so...
Yeah, and you're in there. Tabby, are you still here?
I mean, I'm here in the voice.
I hit start. My start button is grayed out. I am not sure why it hasn't. There we go.
I'm warping,
I got a load
so...
screen.
Okay. So I guess it didn't time us out.
Okay, well, technically it did give us a 30-minute thing, but we can do privates to get around it.
The Terrans will be here soon to steal scientific data.
Now, we ran this the other day just kind of by accident, trying these out, and it was a lot of fun. So the goal is going to be to each take our little satellite and just keep anything from reaching the middle. If something gets to the middle, we're going to have to dip out and take care of it and then go back to our location. So who wants what location?
Alpha.
Beta, Gamma.
How about we just do what we had the last time, but if Tabby wants Alpha, I can go to Beta. I don't remember which one's which until the letters show up. I think Beta's the one to the left.
I'll decide after we finish blowing up the first wave.
Battle station.
All right.
A welcoming committee. You shouldn't have. We're just here for your data. Hand it over and nobody will get hurt.
There goes the Rescava.
All ships, engage the Terran fleet.
This isn't over, Admiral. Believe that.
Enterprise,
Man,
Defiant,
these things are
take
dying
some
fast.
ships and take her down. The rest of you, stay alert. This isn't over yet.
I'm near Alpha.
Picking up more ships through the rims.
Oh, sorry.
You can.
You're okay.
Activate
I'll
the
go to
hollow
Gamma. We're good.
projectors. Let's hope they get the job done. Defend
I'm
the
heading
hollow
towards-
projectors as best you can. You need to clear out the ships at Jupiter Station.
I guess I'm gonna go through mid to get to Beta. Clear out Jupiter Station.
Okay. It's clear. Everybody go get your portals.
You need to get those rims under control.
Oh, I got more friends already. That was fast. Okay, nothing got out from Gamma that time. Anybody need help? You guys doing okay?
So far, so good.
We've got hostiles on the station. They're breaching
We
our
got one that
systems.
got away.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Never mind, shuttles took him out. That was great.
Target's shield has failed.
Oh, I suppose that's true. We could just target things in the middle and
Need
watch
to
all
get
our
those
shuttles.
rims under control.
Yeah. And if we have to pass by a station, we could probably drop a couple turrets over there.
True enough. Go get them, boys.
You need to clear out the ships at Jupiter Station.
Wow. Oh, I had one get away.
Those rifts aren't going to close themselves.
Go.
Ship is under attack.
I guess the two helpers, the two randos we had the other day really did help. We aren't quite keeping them as closed in as we appeared to be.
We've got hostiles on the station. They're breaching our systems.
Still, though, they're dying
No,
pretty quick.
he's not. Yeah, I made sure to stick my shuttles on him, and they just, yeah.
Annihilate them. That's great.
Those rifts aren't going to close themselves.
We should have one more round of portals, I think. Voyager looks lost. Kind of just running around.
Target's shield has failed.
Well, I mean, that's thematically appropriate.
True.
When isn't
Everyone
Voyager
gotta
lost?
get past.
You need to clear out the ships at Jupiter Station.
Delta Quadrant, Alpha Quadrant, it doesn't matter. Does it? Beta Quadrant, they're just lost.
We've locked down the
Okay, there we go.
Now
That
they're
section's
ours for
done.
good.
You still here, Grandma? Ugh, I thought our Janeway was annoying.
Help is on the
Speaking
way.
of annoying, did you like the little back door I put in your station?
Enterprise is back near projector base.
Don't even try to catch me.
Where do you think she's gonna go? Left or right?
You can see the tractor beams from the shuttle.
Gamma.
Here we go again.
Are you kidding me with this? My ships make me invincible. Give up already. Don't even try to catch me.
And she's dead.
Below 75%.
Oh, that was brilliant.
The Enterprise is going for Projector Alpha.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Right shields failing.
Watching where you guys fly, I've been making sure to come in at a different angle to get some of the other ships.
Be seen, Bill.
Shields failing.
And she's done.
Well done. We sent the
Brilliant.
Wow.
Terrans home with a message.
Full
Three
marks.
of us on advanced, and we wrecked it.
Well,
Not on advanced. It didn't have an advanced
Oh.
version. I forgot about that. But
Okay,
still,
but still,
that was a lot of fun. I felt that was a good one to show off what we could do, though, because it's supposed to be a 5-man team, and here we just wrecked it with 3. So much fun. All right, so what are you guys doing next week since I won't be around?
well, let's see here. They announced. Is there anything new that we need to cover, like directly?
I mean, you could do red alerts again. That's the only thing that's going to be new.
I mean, red alerts technically started today, so
Granted,
and we've covered it
maybe
how many times?
a lot. Well, I mean, we don't have to announce it today. I guess you guys can take a day or so and talk about it and let me know, and I'll make the obligatory social media post that I
Sure.
almost forgot about today. I technically made the post after we started. Did a lot of that today. Made post after we started, updated the show notes after we started because I forgot something. Did a lot of that today.
It's fine. I mean,
All
if we can get, I'm hoping maybe the melanoids will be in. Have Tabby show up. That's something we could talk about, Tabby. All the various pets in game.
yes.
You
There
wanna
we
do a
go.
pet
Oh,
episode?
yeah, we're gonna do a pet episode.
And these are companions, right? Non-combat.
Yes. Well, I was like, we might mention the combat pets too, some, but we'll focus on probably a lot of the non-combat because a lot of the non-combat pets are more fun.
All right, we'll just call the episode Pets for now until you come up with a funny name for next week. All right, so tune in next week for Pets. STO Pets. Pets Online? I don't know what to call it.
Melanoid, go! Oh wait,
Pet Trek Online. Huh. We've got 2 viewers left. Do you want to raid somebody?
we scared everyone else off.
I mean, we were up to 5 for a little bit. 6.
We have a lurking goofball, and then we have a Nikodas and a Tabbytha B.
Oh,
Hi, Goofball. All right. Well, let's just go then, so I can get ready for work tomorrow. You guys have a great time, all the viewers. See you out there.
have fun, be safe, and don't set yourselves on fire.
Live long and prosper, everybody.